Oh, okay. Good. Well, hi everybody. It's nice to see you again. I wanted to take a minute to say hello and to say thank you to a few people from the past, I guess, couple of weekends. Comic-Con's over, Anime Expo's over, and yeah, we're moving on in time and stuff to bigger and better things. And I was just, I wanted to start off with Anime Expo. I wanted to say thank you to Connie Law, who helped me out a lot in getting a pass this year. And then before I forget, I didn't turn my phone off, so before I forget about that, I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. But before I forget, today is the 20th, July 20th. It's Lynette's birthday, and Lynette sent me a very generous gift before Anime Expo, I believe. Or she sent me a really nice gift. That's crazy, and I don't know how to think about that. So, thank you so much, Lynette, and happy birthday today. I'm definitely gonna get this video up before then, before the end of today. Basically what happened was Anime Expo, I didn't really do much. I kind of just showed up on Friday without a costume on. I looked for a pair of cat ears, which Steph von Schweetz had insisted that I do for Anime Expo because, like, I wear the same costume, like, all the time. So she was like, well, why don't you spice it up a little bit? Throw a little kawaii in there. And people liked it. I got the cat ears on Friday after looking for like an hour and a half, like looking around the vendors hall. No one had cat ears. Once I got them, I kind of got out of there on Friday. Anime Expo isn't really my bag. I just like to go and kind of mess around. And I was going to do karaoke, but my voice wasn't feeling great that week. Anyways, so we did that and hung out with some friends on Saturday, and then on Sunday, Ray Nix Cosplay actually came and stayed with me, and it was fun hanging out with her for the weekend. And Bennett Cousins, Bennett Does Things. You can look for her on Facebook. We got to hang out quite a bit as well, and I went to see Dungeon Master, which Bennett was in. And I was expecting to kind of be rolling my eyes because improv can go in some really interesting directions when it's not, super honed improv troops. But Dungeon Master, they knew what they were doing. That was a good show. If you ever are at a con and you see a Dungeon Master performance, I definitely recommend going to see it. So Anime Expo, there's not a lot to say. There's a few pictures. It's mostly me with cat ears on in the Loki costume, and I don't know what to tell you about that. I wasn't really putting in 100% at Anime Expo. I spent most of my time in the game room learning how to play Marvel Legends, which was not that great of a game. Do not recommend Marvel. Oh, Marvel Legendary. What a mess. Anyways, but after that weekend was Comic-Con. Comic-Con, much more fun. Not to trash Anime Expo. I mean, it's like I said, it's just not my bag. A lot of people had fun at Anime Expo. I just don't. I look at there's pillowcases and like just characters. It's so many characters, and they're just the same guy with like a different haircut, And it's like, oh, I got a dress on, but it's got like a couple of striped things on it. Like that's my anime character costume, and my name is like Yuku Shako Sushi. And I'm a member of the Water Mushu tribe or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. So congratulations, you're great. I gotta go over here wearing cat ears. I don't know. But like I said, the next weekend was Comic-Con. That's my jam. Comic-Con is all about just being the biggest whore. Like Comic-Con is the dirtiest. Oh, so filthy. And the promotion, just everyone's there. and they're all talking business, and they're all sleazy, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I work in TV, and I do movies, and who cares? But everyone's there, and that makes it fun. So, what happened was we went down on Thursday. Went down Thursday night. Thor TV came, and he stayed with me. He was at my apartment, and we took a trip from LA down to San Diego. And I did a shoot, kind of a naughty shoot, with Nothing Sacred Photography. If you follow my Tumblr, you'll see half-naked pictures of me that have been put up. They're not my most proud. I don't know. They're good photos, but I don't know. I get a little weirded out about the sexy aspect of Loki. Anyways, they're good photos. You should go check them out. So did that, and then Thursday night, or Thursday afternoon, we went to pick up our tickets, and I was going to wear my business suit Loki. However, I forgot half the costume. So I figured, you know what, green t-shirt, that's fine. And actually got a couple of pictures just walking around in a green t-shirt with Thor TV and his red sport coat. Anyways, so that was kind of a throwaway day. We walked around, we got barbecue with a couple other friends of mine. My buddy Davis was in town. My buddy Nick was in town, but I missed him. But I wanted to mention them. And let's see, what am I missing here? So then Friday is when it kind of really started. Thor TV and I both had our actual, movie costumes on. We went in, and I believe that Friday was the day we got up super, super early. And if you live in San Diego and you watch the news like really early in the morning, which I doubt you do, we were on Fox 5 News. They were kind of doing little interstitials and like a lot of coming up next. We got Comic-Con coverage, like check it out, and then you'd see Thor TV and I standing in the back, dopey, looking like idiots, kind of just like with our arms folded or whatever. So there's a couple of clips online of us hanging out in the background of these newscasts. And as soon as we left there, people were on the street saying, hey, yeah, we saw you on TV and stuff. So that was kind of cool. But that's when kind of lightning struck during Comic-Con, was we went to eat. We were real hungry. We had gotten up at 5:45 in the morning, or even earlier, maybe 4:45. We had gotten up super early, went and just stood at this pool of the Hard Rock to like do this newscast, and then we were like, oh, I'm hungry, let's go eat breakfast. So we found this little place called Broken Yoke, which if you've been to San Diego, if you live in San Diego, you may know. And we went and we just sat down for breakfast, and there was a radio show, a morning radio show kind of broadcasting from out there. So if you listen to whatever KPRX Morning Zoo, something out there in San Diego, you might have heard someone mention that we're broadcasting for the Broken Yoke, and there's Thor and Loki waiting in line, and I don't know, we got mentioned briefly there, but as soon as we sat down, people thought it was a real hoot that we were sitting at this booth waiting for breakfast. So guy walks up and he says, can I snap a photo of you two? And we're like, yeah. So we kind of start putting ourselves together, and he goes, no, just sit there, it's fine, you don't have to do anything. And we go back to playing with our phones because we've been up and we're tired and we don't really want to talk to each other. So he takes this photo, and a couple other people take photos and whatever, and we get our breakfast and we pay the bill and we go to the Marvel meetup at Comic-Con. So we spent the rest of the day trying to shoot with as many photographers as we could. We shot with John York of York in a Box Photography. We ended up shooting with Craig's Cosplay Corral, First Glance Photography a little bit. We shot with Cosplayers Canada, who I didn't realize was actually responsible for the original Sexy Loki pics from 2013 Comic-Con. I didn't even know he had taken those pictures, but thanks a lot to him for having those up there, because no one else has those pictures. What else? So we took all these photos and stuff, and that was Friday. by the time 5 p.m. rolled around on Friday, people were coming up to us and saying, like, you guys are on Reddit. And I'm like, I don't even use Reddit. I don't know what Reddit is. I don't know what any of that is. They're like, yeah, Imgur and Reddit and all this stuff. You're like the #1 post on Reddit. So as we're leaving, about 6 p.m. that day, we're on the train checking Reddit. And as it turns out, the guy who snapped the picture and the broken yoke of us waiting for breakfast playing with our phones had written a caption along the lines of, my friend took a picture of this awkward family dinner. Which is messed up because it was like 9 in the morning, and it really bothers me that breakfast would be called dinner. So if you see that photo floating around, it's gone totally right. It's got millions and millions of views. Every time I see it, it's some site that, is like 9gag or something, and it's like got thousands of shares, and people are just like, oh, the hammer, the table is holding the hammer. And I don't know why, of all the hard work we've put into these costumes and showing up to cons and being there, 10 hours a day, it was eating breakfast, waiting on breakfast, that kind of got us this incredible signal boost. So cool, like, I'm happy to have it. It's just crazy how things work. Then Saturday happened. I put my uncomfortable helmet on. I got to film with The Nerdist. The Nerdist was filming a Beauty and the Beast Belle Comic-Con musical video. I posted it earlier, so if you go back through my history, you can find it. I'm only in it for a second, but it was fun. And after that, we spent the day taking pictures of the people, walking around. That was actually when we shot with Craig's Cosplay Corral. I'm waiting on those photos. You're going to see some really cool photos from Craig's Cosplay Corral. Keep an eye on him. Go follow him now. Same with York in a Box. Same with Cosplayers Canada at First Glance Photography. So Saturday was a pretty standard thing. I got to hook, see a couple of my other friends. We tried playing a game that night. We got kicked out of a hotel because we were playing board games until way too late in the night. What else? Sunday we came in and I had actually forgotten my pass, but Comic-Con was generous enough to replace my pass without giving me any real trouble at all. Like, I just kind of walked up and they were nice enough to just say, like, all right, give us your ID, and they replaced my pass. So that was a kind of breath of fresh air. We immediately went up and did a photo shoot with Miley, known on Instagram as Miley Tiny Thunder, the little girl Thor pictures that you've seen on my feed. Very, very fun experience, very good experience. We had a little mishap where I don't know how to handle children. If we're ever at a con and you have like a baby or a small child, I'm happy to take pictures like next to kids, but I don't know how to, like, don't hand me a baby. Don't ever put a child like in my like actual grasp, because I don't know how to do that really. So what happened was I kind of Miley wanted to do a pose where she was kind of up high and I was kind of down low, and she was up here and I was down here, and it was on like a 4-foot concrete ledge. So they helped her up, and when it was time for her to get down, I'm like, all right, let me help you down. And she goes, no, I can do it. So before I could really argue with her, she jumps off this thing, and I, like an idiot, go to like, oh, I'm gonna help Miley I'm gonna like break her fall. I felt my fingertip touch her eyeball. I poked that child in the eye, and that is the worst feeling in the entire world. And she took it like a trooper, and she's like, no, I feel fine. And then immediately the crying starts, and it hurts a lot, and I poked her in the eye, and I'm so sorry, Miley, and that's gonna be the worst thing. I don't know, I'm going to hell for that. So that's what happened. I'm just gonna suffer in eternity because I almost took a child's eye out. She's fine though, I hope. I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't gotten any medical bills in the mail for Miley. So I think she's alright. She's got that kind of springs back to life children thing that children have, so that's nice. I also got to see Ashlyn Day on that shoot. She was looking at me like I was an idiot as this child was crying next to me. Birds of Play I got to see a couple of days during the con, so that was really cool. The Real Sugar Baby, I bumped into her once or twice. She was kind of helpful, and she's got a very critical eye as far as my costume goes, and so anytime I was falling apart, it seems like she would swoop in out of nowhere and be like, "Your chest piece is way off, sorry, bye, yay!" And she'd be just gone. Which please don't ever do that to me. She's allowed to because she's like a good costumer and stuff, but if you've ever got like a jab to take at my costume, just don't. Don't do it, because I'll block you, because I don't care about people's criticisms. Anyways, Muku the Troll Queen did an interview with me. I haven't found it yet, but I know it's going to be around soon. Anyone who follows my costumers knows that I have a very special relationship with Muku. She doesn't like me making that connection. Anyways, I also got to see Harley Cat pretty much the whole weekend. She was in the room for a lot of the board game thing on Saturday night, and her kind of eternal handler, Garen, who's awesome. I also want to thank, I want to bring this up, Captain Patchett and the International Cosplay Corps, as well as Sergeant Swiftstitch especially. These are people, I don't know if you've ever seen pictures or heard stories about them. These are people who go around conventions and they carry supplies for cosplay repair. So what happens is, anyone's costume, typically when it's big or it's made out of a lot of different materials or it's complicated and tied together in various ways, it's going to fall apart. So these people, they're not in a costume, they're just outfitted to help cosplayers, and they're great. Like, all you have to do is take out your phone, hit at Captain Patchett or at Sergeant Swiftstitch, and you can actually say, "Hey guys, I know you're in the building, or one of your friends is in the building with repair stuff. Can you meet up with me outside of Hall B near the entrance," or something, wherever you are. And they'll just be like, "Oh, we got my glue gun, I got my super glue, I got my duct tape, I got all this stuff." And they helped me out, they helped Bennett out quite a few times. And if you're falling apart, there's no better feeling than know you got a little backup. So thank you so much, International Cosplay Corps, with focus on Captain Patchett and Sergeant Swiftstitch. You guys were lifesavers. So then we're on Saturday. We're around Sunday-ish at this point, actually. Actually, Saturday, no. So what happened was EFX Collectibles makes replica props from Marvel movies. They make Thor's helmet, Thor's hammer, Captain America's shield. They make a lot of different stuff. But when I went to their booth, they had a prototype Loki helmet, which was made directly from the cast of Tom Hiddleston's head. They also had Loki's short scepter. And they kind of took it out from behind a desk, and they were like, "Oh yeah, here's our new scepter." And I was like, "Well, here's my scepter." And we held them up, and they were identical. Like, just the length. I mean, they weren't completely identical. Like, the color was different and stuff. But, like, just the resemblance was pretty spot on, considering that Needles and Swords, who made mine, was working off of a projector screen, just projecting it, onto a piece of material and then tracing it and stuff. So, also, I got to see Kyle from Needles and Swords. We hung out for a little while, and he's a super cool guy. He's working for Weta now, and that's an awesome job for him because he makes the best props ever. So, congratulations to him on that awesome job. Said thanks to the Nerdist. Just going through my list. I have so many people to thank. My buddies, Davis, Dane, Austin. It was good seeing all of you. Although I can text you or call you, I just wanted to mention you in the video because you guys are my good friends. I want to say thanks to Marcy Dunlap Meeker, who who is Perfect Cosplay with, I believe, 3 R's. And also the Red Skull Alliance Cosplay. I'm going to be featured, or I'm going to be showing up at Memphis Comic and Fantasy Con, I think it is, in November. So if any of you guys are in Memphis or thereabouts and you're planning on going to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Con, I'll be there. Thanks to Perfect Cosplay and Red Skull Alliance Cosplay. They're actually helping me get out there and handling a lot of the logistics of it. So drop by their sites and give them a like and keep in touch with them because they're really good people. And I wanted to mention them. Also, shout out to Chris Torres, who's always on top of just, like, sharing everything from me. Like, anytime I share something, Chris is sharing it, and I always appreciate a share. So, to everyone who shared things, thank you. And to Chris especially, who's just, like, always making memes and stuff and getting in contact with me, like, thanks, Chris. That's all my photographers. Once again, special thanks to York in a Box, Craig Cosplay Corral, First Glance Photography, Cosplayers Canada, and Bela Dornan, who wasn't actually at the interior of Comic-Con this year, but he did a great photo shoot for me right outside of San Diego there, so that was a huge help. Also, you know, obviously thanks to Thor TV, we've been doing a lot of the Dub Smash stuff whenever we can get in the same room together. He lives about 7 hours away, so whenever we're together, we try to bang out a couple of quick videos for you guys. And we're going to be doing that again hopefully soon. I don't know exactly when, but I'll let you know when. And yeah, thank you to everyone. Thank you to all the new followers who have shown up. Thank you to all the old followers, especially who have been in it from the beginning and haven't either been booted from my site by Facebook or who haven't left voluntarily because I'm kind of a jerk sometimes. Also, thank you to my Tumblr followers who keep suffering the abuse of me answering their questions with smart-ass remarks. Instagram too, and you know, I'm gonna try to start twitching again as soon as I get some electrical work done on my apartment. But I can't risk my computer, my big computer, getting shorted out again until I have some other things installed. Anyways, so I see I'm almost 25 minutes in. I've talked way more than I should have, but you know, I've got a lot to be thankful for. So thank you guys again. Once again, happy birthday to Lynette, and thank you so much for the gift. And you know, another shout out to Marcy and Mark, Perfect Cosplay, and Red Skull Alliance Cosplay for their generosity as well. I'm going to be looking into prints soon. Look for those, and thank you to all the photographers who are chipping in for that. But I'm going to hope to have them listed by maybe the end of the month. So by the time August rolls around, maybe I'll be having some prints for you guys to buy. Until later, or until, you know, the next thing, you guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye. Hate you. Bye.